Hi, welcome to Eden Hope Academy. I am Kim Glanowski and I'm the founder of Eden Hope Academy, and this video is our welcome to our community. So I'm so glad that you're joining us. Your child will be transformed in their ability to think and process information through this program, and you're going to be astounded at how quickly they make correlations and come to wise conclusions. So let's get started. What will they do before class? Eden Hope Academy's philosophy is that before class, the students will learn so that they come to class prepared to use the information that they have learned in the group setting. So what they'll do is they'll do our large Eden Hope Academy book. It's just one big page for the whole week. Generally, parents will sit down their children at the kitchen table while they're doing cooking or prep work, and the children will listen to the video and then they'll fill in the different boxes. It's just 4 coloring boxes that they'll have to do, but as they listen to it, they're going to learn so much. We talk about not only we read the passage to them, but then we talk about before what happened, after what happened, that passage, how it's meaningful to their lives and how it connects with the different events that they've learned thus far. It's so important that you don't teach history as independent events, but you show history as going together and telling a full story, making a full tapestry of life. And so the students will do that with Bible, history, geography, and science every single week. And will be the work for the mom will literally be setting up the computer and listening to the kids to make sure that they're staying on track. The next part they're going to do is the Eden Hope Academy exclusive timeline cards. Now, our team of educational experts, of PhDs, of moms have all come together and worked so hard to create a program that will best help your child to learn. And what we found was most helpful for your children to learn is to draw out an aspect of what they've discovered. So they'll watch 3 to 4 videos every week, and then they will create 3 to 4 timeline cards. Now, to do this, to draw the picture on the front of the card, think about all of the mental processing that has to go on. They have to watch a video. Then they have to determine what the most important aspect of that video was, or that event was, for them. And so they might think of Winston Churchill, and it might be a huge amount of information that they've learned through books from the library or from watching our videos on Winston Churchill. And they'll have to think, what do I want to speak about, and how will I convey that to my audience? So for my children, it was his bathtub. He brought a copper bathtub with a little heater in it to World War I, and after all of the battles and the fighting took place, he would take himself a tubby. And for my children, that meant that he had such a confidence about his life and what was going to happen to him that he could relax in the middle of battles. So they both put bathtubs on the outside of their cards, on the first side of their cards. On the second side of their cards, you for them, or they will write one sentence. And that sentence will just be something to help them remember that subject. And then below, again, our team of experts came up with this natural language processing technique that's called mind mapping, and it helps students to remember the information that they've written down. And it's just notes, and they go on top of the bubbles. So it might be that Winston Churchill in the middle, and then it might be that he brought a bathtub, so you might put bathtub on one circle, then you might put megaphone on the second circle, because he liked to go out on the British ships during World War II, and he would take a megaphone and he would yell at the Germans and say, "This is Winston Churchill," and taunt them in the middle of war. So those two would go together because both times he had such an audaciousness about him that he was willing to even go that far in a war situation. So at home, the last thing that they'll do at home is their memory music. And we suggest at Eden Hope Academy that you set up an area for memory music, or do it in your car, and that you have something like Legos or Connect, something that your child would enjoy doing that's quiet, where they can listen to the music during the week. They need to listen to it a couple of times during the week to really memorize it, and they will get a stamp for each song that they memorize when they get to Eden Hope Academy. Now, why do children need memory music? It's really quite important. what the memory music is doing is giving them a corpus of information from which they can draw in the future. So for example, if they're memorizing the song about Alexander the Great, they're going to memorize it to this very fun country music song that says Alexander the Great rode his horse Bucephalus to the Gordian knot, which he cut with a sword, and that he was one of the greatest leaders of all time. And it goes in, it gives actually a lot more information from that. But later on in life, even when they're adults, they will hear something about Alexander the Great and they'll instantly think about his horse, about the knot, and about how great of a Macedonian leader this was, and how he even died very young. So they'll remember all of that information from this song that they memorized when they were just kids. So it also just gives them tremendous vocabulary that they'll be able to use in the future. So make sure that they memorize those songs. So they'll do the book, which is about 20 to 30 minutes. They'll do the timeline card, which is probably 45 minutes, and then they'll do the memory music, which is roughly an hour or so each week. 3 things, that's all they have to do before they get to class. Now, what happens when they get to community time? That's going to be the best day of the week. What you're going to hear for 6 days of the week is it Eden Hope Day? And then that one day, they're going to pop out of bed and they're going to be so excited to go to Eden Hope Academy because they will bring their books. They will get their stamps for each item that they memorize. They'll get a stamp. They'll also get a stamp for doing their workbook. They'll get 3 to 4 stamps for each timeline card that they've done. And then they'll get a stamp for being there and coming on time. So lots of different stamps. And these stamps are fantastic because twice a year, your child is going to have market fair, where they bring in 15 things that they've made, and we're talking things that are left over from a party from you, or something that's around the house, or like painted rocks, or necklaces made out of peach pits, something like that, something that's very inexpensive but fun for the students. They'll bring in 15 things and then they will have a sale. All the students' products will be put out. They'll be given an Eden Hope Academy dollar for each item, each stamp that they've received, and they will get to go on a spending spree. And kids love Market Day. It'll be one of the best days of the year for your child. So they get their stamps when they come in. We'll review Spanish. Now, the Spanish is a program that you can do throughout the week if you want. It's a great online teaching program that's an Eden Hope Academy exclusive, and it also has worksheets that you can do with your child if you choose to during the week. So we will do the stamps, the Spanish, we will pray, and then we will do 3 songs together. Now, our team of experts has read studies that show that learning a cappella songs help the children with rhythm, measurement, and also with memory. So we do that every single week when we get together. Then the students disperse into age groups. So it's not strict age groups. We are very flexible. If the parents prefer a different group, we'll just move them for you. So when they go to their classes, the students move from class to class, like a high school, and the teacher stays in the same class. So they're getting 4 different teachers every single week and 4 different positions to stand, sit on the floor, or even to dance. So they're never in the same position for more than 40 minutes. So if they started out with critical thinking skills, they would pull out their timeline cards, and then the teacher would select a couple of the students to present on those timeline cards. Now, the Eden Hope Academy program goes through with your children how to respond during someone else's presentation. Now, we stole this from the GE Six Sigma program. So your child is getting business master's degree level skills at even the age of 4. So the students will sit around a round table. One student will present. It's just 2 to 4 minutes. They might say something about Winston Churchill that we've already discussed. And then once they're done, they'll say, who has comments and questions? And then the other students are required to participate. So they might say, well, I appreciate what you just said about Winston Churchill. That was great. I found that his participation in South Africa during the Boer War was really amazing because he actually jumped out of a train and was able to escape being captured that way, or something like that. So they will add on based on their information that they've learned. And that is an amazing opportunity to teach those presentation skills, critical thinking skills, and also the ability to have a discussion with someone in a group. The next thing that class will do is called Lincoln. Lincoln is an Eden Hope Academy exclusive program, yet again formulated by our team of experts. And the students, the little guys, will sit down, and the facilitator of that group will say, we have the Dardanelles Straits and we have Europe. Would you put those together? And they might slam their hand on the two cards, and they might say, Lincoln, and so you would say, why? And they'd say, well, the Dardanelles Straits connects the Black Sea to the Mediterranean, and the Mediterranean touches the underside of Europe, and that would be good. They might say, no, and they might say because they feel like the Dardanelles Straits is over too far away from Europe. So it's up to them, but they're going to be critically thinking about it. Our older students are going to be given a task with their Linkit cards, and this gets so fun in the classes. So we might talk about how the grandchildren of Queen Victoria started wars. So they might talk about King George, they might talk about Kaiser Wilhelm, and they might talk about Nicholas of Russia, and they might talk about all of those aspects of them, but putting down the cards and telling a story. And when time is up, then they have to explain how all of those linked together. Now this rips out history from the history book, rips out geography, rips out all of that, and makes the students have to understand it and apply it in their own life. So that is one of the neatest aspects of Eden Hope Academy, because the students learn to quickly apply information. The next thing that they're going to do is they're going to go to art class. Art class is always messy and fun and relevant to what they've learned in history that week. And so we're going to do sculpture and mosaics and clay work and just so many fun aspects of art. We will explain the history to them, and then they will get at least 30 full minutes to do a project. After art, they will go to science. Science, again, is open-ended. It is fun. It includes dissections. It is messy, and it is relevant to what they're learning. And then they'll do ukulele and dance. Ukulele is because the University of Virginia had a study that showed that the ukulele helped the brain to cross a midline more than any other instrument. So ukulele is getting the full body to work together. It's great for reading skills, and it's also great for sports skills because it's integrating the whole body together. Again, our dance is like that too. We're not the touchy-feely dancing, we're doing the process dance so that your child learns processes in a fun way through dance. Finally, we'll go through all of those timeline cards that your child has brought, and we'll think of something funny to say for each one. And we will build on it throughout the year. So by the week 24, we will have all of the history, all about 80 history facts that the children have memorized in order. So it might be like the War of Spanish Succession, and they'll say, "Olé!" Something like that. So it's very fun and active and filled with energy. After that, your child will have lunch with the group, and then they will have about 45 minutes of playtime and socialization time. And when they go home, I guarantee you, your child is going to be exhausted. They will have loved their day, and they will have learned so much that you're going to be astounded. So I hope that you will either start an Eden Hope Academy community or you'll join one near you. And I look forward to hearing how much your child learns during this program.